Hello and welcome back to the UKLC here at the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios in Sweden. And we just had a very one-sided first two games really to start the day out. But from this point onwards, it does look like we're going to get some more interesting games and kind of closer games between these teams.
Yeah, I think Barrage came in as a little bit of a dark horse to this split. It was hard to read them with their imports coming in, with Civil coming in from Oceania and Flares coming in from North America. They had a really strong performance yesterday. There was some shaky moments, by all means. In the early game, there was definitely issues, but they refined that in the later stages. They looked so well coordinated. The 1-3-1 was pulled off extremely well. NVision, they gave a good challenge to Excel. They actually kept it very competitive for a long time. I do favor NVision in this, but I think Barrage, if they can show a bit more than they showed yesterday, a more refined early game as well, they could definitely make this a competitive game. And we have some interesting matchups like Hado on Barrage up against his old AD carry Yusa on NVision. So I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm really interested. You know, Nulti versus Sybil. Sybil's obviously new to the region, like you said, an import. Nulti's been around for quite a while now, previously on M&M. And, you know, there were some questions around him, and then he kind of dashed those questions towards the end of the summer split. But at the beginning, there were a lot of questionable mistakes, i.e. looking mainly at Elise and Xin Zhao, dying in matchups where he shouldn't have been dying. But then he kind of really started to take over for M&M. And if that Nulti starts to show up, that's what I want to see. I want to see Nulti kind of taking over the map like he did towards the end, and when M&M started to have that rise in kind of in power.
I think stylistic difference as well between these whole teams, not just on the junglers, is that NVision had shown that they can have a pretty formidable early to mid game, and that's where they sort of flourished. And in the later stages, XL were just better at pulling the trigger. They managed to find them in the ideal team fight situations. Whereas on the other side, Barrage, their early game was messy. Sybil was getting caught out, and I was like, what is this guy doing? But later on, they showed a very good understanding of how to play the map, very good understanding of how to push their advantages as well. And I think I expect NVision to come out ahead in the early game because of what happened yesterday. But in the later stages, Barrage could bring it back if they play similarly. But that's on paper what I expect. Draft will be a big factor, of course, and also what game these teams are bringing today, and also how they match up. Because on paper, again, NVision are ahead in terms of skill, but we could see something different. We could see those expectations being dashed.
NVision are the team that, you know, everyone was saying are the new Academy Slayer. You've got the likes of ex-Academy players in Shikari and Prosper who were on Fnatic Rising back in Spring Split. You've got Yusa, M&M, you know, the rookie of the split for so many years.
He's still the rookie of the split.
He's still rookie of the split. He's the rookie of the split in my heart. And then Barrage, you know, they've got a few old names, the likes of Hado as well, a support who's been around longer than me. He's been playing support since the dinosaurs were here. Yeah,
I spent a couple of years as a player, a couple of years as a caster, and Hado was there before, and Hado was there after. He is eternal. And that's largely due. That largely suggests why Barrage are so good at playing around the map, because they have a ton of experience in their roster. Flares, he was on the cusp of getting into the LCS way back in the day with players like Keith McBreath on his team, and him, Hado. So much experience between them, and you can tell it shows in their play from yesterday. But they are up against a formidable opponent in NVision. So far, I've seen the bans come through. A lot of flex picks in terms of Carly and Rumble, no surprise there. And then the Jarvan being taken away. Been such a successful pick, especially when used in tandem with these other AoE ultimates like the Misfortune.
Yeah, we've seen it used to great effect so far. So it makes sense. Actually, one of the big ones we saw was the Rumble Jarvan combo yesterday for just one-shot Yusa.
I think Yusa definitely remembers that one.
Yusa does not want to deal with that. And actually, it's been banned from the side of Barrage. So, you know, maybe they're just trying to give him some flashbacks to yesterday, just in the back.
Yeah, like these are the two champions that ruined you. If they want to ban MF here as well, then that's definitely sending a message. But going to be the Ornn coming away from NVision, something that they picked pretty early on with the possible intention to flex, but they just gave it to Shikari. NVision now, there's a lot of big picks still available. Senna still on the cards, Set still on the cards, Syndra, Soraka, Aphelios, a lot of power picks, and this isn't always a bad thing because Barrage can only take one. So Barrage take, for example, Senna, it will leave Aphelios plus another pick for NVision. They're banning away the LeBlanc, a strong, blind, safe pick, which may enable them to get a good counter pick later on, and also something Ericsson had a lot of success on yesterday, but that leaves open the Soraka. Do they have an answer to it?
Well, you know you want to take it from NVision because Prospero was willing to run that into support role. You expect the Shikari and Adept are also capable of playing it as well, but they decided actually not to go for it. They want to go for the Syndra, a flex pick for something that can go into the mid or the bot lane. So it doesn't really reveal too much here. So NVision now, they need to look into picking something up, and they just instantly lock in the Senna and the Elise here. Want to get some kind of early ganking capabilities out from Nolty. And obviously, Senna just very, very strong in the current meta. Has been banned away in the previous 2 games. What's going to be the answer here from Barrage is they're looking for potentially a jungler. They don't want to get outbanned here. And maybe something to put in the support and leave that kind of mid/AD carry role a little open.
There's actually a pretty heavy denial coming out from NVision because Senna, at least, was what Barrage played yesterday. But both of these champions pretty strong. A lot of early pressure coming out from this Elise. And then Senna has so much scaling and the utility to assist the team. Lee Sin, Syndra, that's a pretty strong 2v2 mid-jungle combo, but the Syndra can, of course, be flexed. Barrage, they've been hovering the Soraka a lot, but we don't need to worry too much about hovers. Got to assess what they're going to lock in. They could take an AD carry here to match up so they don't get banned away. They could take a support to provide issues, and they're going to go for the Thresh. It's a big denial pick as well. Thresh offers a lot of safety over to the Senna, but on top of that, it's a decent matchup into Braum, which we've seen go together with the Senna a lot.
It's also very nice into Senna because Senna's always in the center of a Shroud, so you can at least like in the hook on her.
The movement speed can make it tricky, but overall, this is something Hado played yesterday, so he's confident to bring that one back again. And then we're going to see what NVision take. Tom Kench is a good matchup for this.
Oh, the Blitz!
Yeah, Tom Kench should be the safe pick, but I don't really expect that from Prospect. Going for the Blitzcrank, so into the Thresh, this is a good matchup because when he's channeling his hook animation, he's just stood still, so grab him. You can also cancel the Lantern if your timing is really on point.
Another cool thing is actually this makes the odds of the Syndra going bot lane a little bit harder as well because Syndra are typically very immobile. Someone who doesn't have the ability to dash away from the hook when it comes out. So if you run that Syndra bot, you've got the safety of the fresh Lantern. You've obviously, you have a lot of wave clear, a lot of damage, but one hook spells your death.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's pros and cons to it. We're getting into the next ban phase and Misfortune being banned away. Could see the Aphelios next. And that would obviously limit a lot of the tools available to Barrage in the bot lane. Maybe even force them to put the Senna down there. Set banned away from Shikari. Mordekaiser is still open in the top lane. Gangplank still open in the top lane. So a lot of tools still available for Shikari. And based on how teams have played around Shikari before, it's usual that you see a blind top laner and then they counter pick around mid. But that was on teams where you had Special as a mid laner, Magi Felix as a mid laner. It'll be interesting to see here if there's a difference. If they decide to give Shikari the counter pick. For now, though, they're going to ban away those 2 top tier 80 carries. And they're just limiting the pool available to Kevo right now. He may end up just taking the Syndra because he's forced off a lot of picks in this situation.
The Varus is still open as well, so you could always opt in for something like that.
Tristana is available as a double flex.
Available, yep.
I can also buffer out of the Blitzcrank hook. They could even go the Ezreal. We saw Xmati bring it back. There has been a rise in a new Ezreal sort of rune strategy where you go lethal tempo. And the extra attack speed, obviously, when you start initiating in trades, can just amp it up. And you can apply a lot of on-hit effects like the Mana Muni and the Blade of the Rune King. Fernando Aurelia banned away, and we're seeing a rise. So pretty intelligent pick here because it functions as a flex between mid and top. So we still do not know what lane has been picked up for NVision.
I actually love picks and bans at the moment because it is literally just a mind game of flex picks for most of the time. And NVision, you know, the Elise is you pretty much know the bot lane, but you really don't know this mid lane at this point. The same thing for Barrage. They're now going to finally tell us where this Syndra is going in this phase. But for the longest time, NVision were kind of unaware. And again, Heimerdinger, technically a flexible pick as well between 3 lanes if you really, really want to send him top lane.
Expecting this
to go bot.
Bot, sorry. I wouldn't want to blind the Heimerdinger necessarily, but also you have the safety of the Thresh to get you out. You can put turrets down and block hooks, so that works effectively in that regard, and it's going to have pretty effective priority up against that lane, and it means Thresh is free to roam and sort of influence other matchups. Actually, see the Riven coming out from Flares.
Wow. Okay, so what are NVision going to do? Are they going to put Shikari on the rise and slap that top lane? Or is Shikari going to have something else in mind for the moment? Looks like he's maybe thinking about something a little bit different to put up there. We'll have to see what he decides to lock in. That is a very bold pick.
Yeah. I mean, if it gets on the backline, it can absolutely smash through them, but you kind of need a lead with it. Renekton, that is the standard counter pick that Riven mains sort of hate going up against it. And that means look at the combo between the top jungle for NVision. You have Renekton, Elise. I was coached by Daruk before, the coach for NVision, and when he sees Renekton Elise, he's like, dive top, dive top, dive top, dive top. I guarantee the pre-6 is going to be a dive top coming out from NVision. That's what they're going to look for to punish this Riven pick coming out from Barrage. And on top of that, they have the Ryze. Ryze pretty good at finding priority. Might struggle a little bit against a Syndra, but he has that Realm Warp. If he wants to go and assist his team with dives on the side of the map, he's welcome to do so. For NVision, they have a pretty strong 1-3-1 with the Ryze now available. They've got decent scaling elements, and they can also punish that top lane Riven pick with the Renekton Elise combo. With the Barrage, it's a little bit more scattered in terms of their identity. They've got a strong mid-jungle combo. They're going to have priority bot lane, and it's sort of establishing that control over the bot side of the map and expanding it. It's not as clear-cut as NVision's sort of our top side's going to try and stomp, and then we're going to try and just rotate around the map and find advantages. Interesting draft coming out from both sides.
A very interesting draft indeed. And I mean, we look back to yesterday and Barrage, when they're catching teams in pits, it was such a dominating team fight. You look at this comp and yeah, if NVision do find themselves grouped up in a pit, the amount of damage that could just get layered onto them is going to be really scary. You get the Heimerdinger kind of putting the bouncing bombs down, Syndra scattering the weak. There's a lot of AoE damage available to them, but a distinct lack of mobility onto two of the main carries for this team.
I mean, that's the current meta.
Yes.
That's the current meta. You have the Thresh to sort of alleviate that a little bit to an extent. But I'm just going to be interested in how this one pans out. I think there are a lot of laning strength tools coming out for Barrage in the bot side of the map. They have the priority awarded by the Heimer. You can also, if Blitzcrank mispositions, very easy to follow with all of your abilities and layer some damage down onto him. Even worse if Yusa mispositions, which is something we've criticized him for in the past. And then mid lane having a Syndra. If Ericsson wants to sort of strut his stuff, he could really start to punish this matchup, but they're going to have a bleeding hole on the top side of the map where Elise and Renekton can very easily look to dive this Riven. And the question is going to be, does Sybil want to look around the rest of the map to try and further his bot lane and mid lane advantages, or is he going to try and counter gank the top?
I mean, the counter gank with the Riven underneath a tower does obviously turn that, but if Sybil is deciding just to play elsewhere on the map, Flares is probably in for quite a rough game if we see Nolte decide to like just camp top lane. But, you know, you said this is something that is incredibly strong. You talked on it about last game actually as well, because you were saying
one of the best diving combos, because essentially Renekton has mobility to get in and out of the tower. He has a targeted stun that's very easy to land, and Elise has the aggro reset, and she has a lot of burst available. Just the way they work in tandem, it's really hard to avoid it because they'll walk up to you. Renekton can stun you, so the cocoon is a guaranteed land after that. Then and Renekton can dash out, and Elise will finish you off, and then she repels to drop aggro. It's really easy to do. Or alternatively, Elise can take aggro first. It goes both ways. Both just have amazing tools for this. And Flares, not going to be having fun if this does end up coming down.
We'll have to see as we're taken to the Rift for the third game of the day here at the UK League Championship. Barrage versus NVision.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Pretty passive level 1. Blitzcrank could go aggressive here. But you got to be really cautious because teams will stack against you. And the hook, if you end up walking in and then you end up hooking, say, a Riven or a Thresh, it's just going to turn around drastically bad for you. So defensive start by both teams. A big thing for me is for Barrage, I'd want to try and work out where Nolte starts. If he is wanting to path towards the top side, he could start on his blue buff. But alternatively, he could start his Raptors to red to Krogs, or red Raptors Krogs, and he could be level 3 while only staying on the top side of the map. We could even see a map split come out from Nolte. And if you wanted to punish Riven here, that would be disastrous, because not only are you getting camped by the Elise, but your jungler is just cut off from your side of the map. We do see both junglers opting for level 1 starts with no leashes. They're trying to reveal as little information as possible, and if you look on the minimap, they've both gone for these defensive wards in their own jungle, just next to the Raptors, try and cover things and ensure that no one's moving forwards to get information or invading you. Nolte looks like he's just going to go straight down towards bot side. Likely going to be buff to buff just to secure both of those. And Lee Sin opting to do something similar.
Wave's going to get shoved in early. You kind of expect that in this lane. Heimerdinger will just put the turrets down, have that kind of safe zone to work with as Flares. Trying to catch this wave. They have a light trade versus Shikari earlier on.
Yeah, Riven actually wins the matchup level 1 and level 2. It's only at level 3 where Renekton really starts to come online and just win it out. Because you can build your Fury up pretty effectively. You dash in, auto stun, auto Q, dash out. There's no way Riven can really trade with you. All she can try to do is buffer a shield for when you go in. So you don't trade that well. So here, Flair's actually just fine in these trades. And then there's no way Shikari can chase him down because the dash's not yet available.
You can actually see that Sybil's looking to move up. Will get spotted on this tri-brush wall, but now Nolty with the sweeper is not going to be seen. Ericsson smells something's up though.
Yeah, I think maybe Adept's acting might be a bit bad. Level 3 now available for Shikari, but he has to be cautious because Sybil is nearby. I'm sure this is communicated. There's actually a ward in this tri-brush. He'll have seen him. Yeah, he knows he's there. So that's why he's not trying to establish his dominance at this point. But you can see already he's up in HP compared to the Riven. Now the wave is in favor of Flair, so this isn't a really good spot for Shikari because he can just keep it in front of his tower. He's not really under threat of being dived, especially when he had vision of the jungler. And instead, Nolty not opting to put pressure towards top lane. He's coming down bot, but again, Barrage just sends something. Maybe the position of Prospers clued them up, but they're actually walking up again. They're not convinced. They're moving up with a wave. This could be really bad for them. Oh. Adept. Phase Rush going to get him out of that one.
Yep, now they're looking to jump in. Prosper goes for the hook. The grenade comes down. The hook goes a little bit wide. Turrets do a lot of damage to Prosper there, and nothing used there by Barrage. They're just able to walk it out.
And critically, the information now given. Nolty is bot side. Nothing to fear on the other side of the map. So Sybil just goes for an invade on those Raptors. Shikari, as much as he may want to establish dominance in this lane matchup, has to be cautious of the enemy jungler. Oscar takes a heavy trade, Ignite burnt on the side of Raj, and mana a little bit low on Kevo, so things getting maybe a bit rough for them, but overall in the trades, they are far winning out over NVision. And that's the thing with Blitzcrank, even more so than the other hook supports. If you don't hit a hook, you really are pretty useless.
Hook actually does come down from Haddo. Prosper is low, and that's just going to be first blood. Kevo gets it on the Heimerdinger.
Not much else to say. Good play coming out from Kevo and Haddo. I said, synergize if you land the hook. The stun grenade from the Heimer, really easy to follow up on. Blitzcrank, pretty useless if you're not landing those rocket grabs.
There's a bold pick by him, and it's biting him right about now. Kevo looking to go to base. Probably wants to get himself out Lost Chapter so that mana won't be too much more of a problem for him. Flares is going to get this wave shoved into him. Should catch most of this underneath here. So equalizing that CS deficit for Shikari has been able to accrue. But you are seeing Shikari is starting to take over that lane like you said.
The big Dragon start up on the bot side. Prospect not aware of this, and the turret to help out Sybil makes it pretty easy. But he's going to go mid. Ericsson.
Ooh, Ericsson's in for trouble. That's going to be the rocket punch. That's going to be the rocket grab. Scatter the Weak comes down to just get rooted in place, and Ericsson run down, but actually is able to make his way out there. The Dragon will fall there for Barrage as well.
NVision, they were scared of the fact that they don't know where the rest of Barrage was. Nolty's on the top side. They didn't have their jungler with them. They did not want to chase into the enemy side of the map on that play. So they'll chunk Ericsson out. But other than that, not going to achieve too much in that situation. Big factor too, Merc Treads picked up by Ericsson before that fight. So the extra magic was just cutting down the damage significantly, as did the CC coming out from the Rise.
Key to note as well is Ericsson didn't burn Flash. So he's going for a fight versus Shikari, but Shikari has Dominus available, so be a little bit of a risky fight for him to take.
Shikari's not even wanting to trade back by dashing in because the wave is in such a good spot for him. Look at where the position has to come out from Flares. Pink ward thrown down by Shikari, and this is so scary for the Riven because you don't know where Nolty is, and Shikari can just keep the wave frozen here. Also, if you look mid, priority has been achieved for Adept. So this came from that gank from Prosper earlier, so he's able to shove in, and now this entire top side of the map is NVision's. You cannot step in there because you risk running into Nolty and Adept, and it's really dangerous. But Flares, he's going for a risky one.
Yeah,
he's trying to clear some vision.
Dangerous stuff. Actually gets the cocoon to the face there. Trying to get those broken blades up. Gets himself a knock up, and what? A win slash to secure a kill. Flares That was very risky, but he does not get punished for it.
And I think that's the thing. You go for a risky play that no one expects you to make, and they get caught off guard. Nulty, the reason I think he died there was his spider form was still on cooldown, couldn't swift out, but they're going to punish Ericsson here.
Ericsson held that flash earlier, does burn it this time.
So the priority achieved by Shikari there, by shoving the wave in. He does make some use of it by getting this flash, but overall, Nulty making a pretty criminal mistake, getting caught there and given a kill over the flares, essentially for free. It was a good read coming from the Riven.
Yeah, Sybil's able to take out that pink ward as well, so will alleviate some of that pressure as the base comes down by flares and he's looking to build his Kindle gem up. So he wants as much cooldown
153 gold. Do you see that? Just spun round. Got that big paycheck in his pocket.
It's always like more satisfying watching, like as an observer, the gold come in. Like if you see a Gangplank get a massive barrel off and he gets all of the like Q gold as well, just loads of gold in the pocket. Like, oh, what's that pit like that?
Remember that video? It was in a pro game. I can't remember where, but a Lulu uses a glitter lance. This was back when it was AP mid Lulu and before they nerfed it. And just one hits a whole line of casters. It must have been like 3 waves worth of casters. That iconic moment. Anyway, taking stock of the game. So overall, Nulty spent a ton of time top lane to achieve very little. He's getting close to that level 6 point, which is where things not as favorable for the Elise. Pre-6, at least you are one of the strongest junglers in the game. You have 6 abilities where everyone else has 3. You have your ult available to you, but when Sybil hits level 6, his skirmishing power becomes a lot more formidable, so you have to be a bit more cautious.
Oh, actually, Ericsson's looking to go in here. They've got flares on the backup. Going to try and get that stun off in time, but he can't get it.
Great
oh,
play.
and it makes his way out. A fantastic route. Means he will not die today.
Smart read coming out from Adept. The CC had already come down. Ericsson used his stun after his ult, and then Flares used his as well. And as a result, nothing to stop the Realm Warp from activating other than them just killing him. They weren't able to find the damage, so Adept survives and makes a clean getaway. But I'm liking this play from both top laners. When they find priority, they rotate mid and apply pressure. One thing to look for, though, speaking of pressure, there's a big squad moving up towards the Herald and a lot of vision control for Barrage in the top side of the map. Shikari happy just to shove this in and walk away, but Sybil already starting up the Herald. Both 80 carries on the other side of the map without TP. Everyone else here, though, in Prosper, potentially looking for something. It looks like NVision, they want to contest this Herald, and they feel stronger right now. Big concern has to be that Riven. But with Renekton there, the Elise there, they're feeling confident. They now have vision control.
Luke's going to land onto Sybil. He's just going to get blown up. Shikari secures it. Scatter the weak onto 2.
Really nice play.
Can't really do much more there.
You free up the Blitzcrank, allow him to move somewhere else, and he finds a good pick. And that was blind, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was.
Yeah, Smith.
Ericsson is just going to catch this wave underneath his tower currently. Zorx is going to do a quick check to see whether or not that was blind, I am assuming.
Yep. Yeah, that was complete. Wait, I'm going to toggle the vision.
All right, you toggle that vision. Now, Drake is spawning up in a few seconds, so you can see the NVision have shifted all of their team towards this bot side of the map. It is that Infernal. Obviously, Infernal a little bit weaker than previous seasons in that duo of insane tower diving is actually finally looking for a tower dive onto Flares and Flares. He reads something as a miss, knows that his team are all on the bottom side of the map, so doesn't want to overextend here. Shikari then gets taken stun, but they got all of that damage to work with. In comes the ulti from center, and Flares actually holds his life for a little bit. He's just going to try and catch this wave. That's all he can do. The stun onto Nulty will not do enough.
Later than we expected it, but the power is still there. A little bit of a mis-execution as well, but it's still so easy, so hard to punish that dive. Flares does his best, but unfortunately isn't able to find it. And I did check back. It wasn't completely blind because they had just cleared out a ward, so they were still revealed for a couple of seconds before going in the brush. So Crossfire had a pretty big cue as to he was going to hook someone. Dragon taken Barrage. This is their second. But again, we've talked about this a lot. The early Dragon's not worth too much until you get up to the Soul. And NVision going to trade, use the Herald top lane to get some more gold. And now, big lead for Shikari. Just under 2,000 for the team overall.
Return there from Barrage as they get themselves the Infernal Drake. As Flares did go down, but turret will fall. What do Barrage need to do now? They're down the tower. They're down the gold. What are their options?
I think Barrage still have some pretty good pick potential. It's still very hard to punish that Heimer. But I think the key thing is they need to get set up first. They need to get the vision control, they need to set up, and if they want to look for picks off the back of the Heimer turrets, they're in a good position to do so. My concern is if this transitions into a 1v1. This is what I'm talking about.
Nolty's going to get caught. They've got the Lantern, the Scat of the Week. Haddo, that's an easy kill here.
You cannot walk in a fog of war against this Barrage lineup. It's really difficult to do so. And if you give them a gold lead, you're just never going to be able to find an engage because of how strong the disengage is on this team. If you try and run into Heimer, Thresh, Syndra, and Lee Sin, you will die.
Sybil's going to take away these chickens. Crossfair was waiting in that push, but he put himself just out of hook range, and now Flares helping Sybil. Could be a pick onto him. They do get a lot of root damage down. He jumps away to safety, but that is not enough from the Dragon's Rage. Shikari looks to run onto Flares, gets himself the stun off of the Cold and Meek. But Flares, very mobile at this point, doesn't quite flip that wall.
Ambitious to try and flip that wall. But just constant pressure coming in bot. This tower is very low, likely to be taken on this next wave. Haddo is staying there just in case someone tries to shot, but this one goes for free. And the response is to take this blue away on the other side of the map. Big thing is denying it from Syndra. So Syndra's been sat mid just to completely mitigate any pressure because you can wave clear. But now if you look at her mana on the side of the map, that's getting pretty low. You can see they've set up Yusa and Prospere in the mid lane. She's burning mana to try and handle the wave and keep it out of the tower because she could very much get dived.
Oh, they're looking for it. That's a good Scat of the Week to make sure you stay alive. Ericsson still got the flash, and Prospere not going to find his mark here.
Mana low, though, for Ericsson.
Yeah,
he's going to go for a reset. But fortunately, everyone had to take this opportunity to go up and cover mid. And Heimer pretty good at holding onto mid lane tower. Now plating has dropped away. Less gold available on the map. And it's been mostly equalized from Barrage getting that tower on the bot lane. Very little between both of these teams. So now you can see the 1-3-1 come out from NVision. Rise has gone on the top side, Renekton in the bot lane. They're pretty comfortable with this lane allocation.
This is a nice thing you're seeing here as well, because now Use is at the point where he actually outranges the turrets. So he can just walk up and auto-attack them out with no contest. But comes out by Haddo, not actually going to find anybody here. Is Nolty and Prospere holding quietly, patiently, waiting for someone from Barrage to overstep a potential pick option, some gold.
So right now isn't the situation when Vision can do a ton, because they do not have vision on Syndra.
Oh, good hit.
Riven.
Oh, Kevo misses out.
But now is the time where they can apply pressure. So the waves got pushed in the side lane. Flares is answered.
Good lantern.
Flares is answered top. Ericsson is answered bot lane. And that means Adept and Shikari can move mid in this situation and pressure with more numbers, but they haven't been able to find anything with Weil, so they now rotate back towards their side lanes. This is going to be the ebb and flow for now to try and get this mid lane tower. So Flares is now pushed up, so Adept comes to answer. You'll see the same thing on the other side of the map.
Flares jumps onto Adept, misses the knock-up with the last part of the broken wings.
Sybil actually been spotted out, but he's going to apply more pressure. So Barrage actually going for a lean on the top side here a little bit to deny Adept. And you can see the same happen on the opposite side. Nolty, he's wanting to put some attention towards Shikari, especially since their target would be Ericsson. Very easy dive to make against a champion with no mobility. And you can see if you pan down the bottom side of the map.
Oh, they're looking for a gank here. That's going to be the flash. The teleport's there. Shikari has to jump away. The redemption comes down for a bit of a heal. Dawning Shadow is going to be enough. And Ericsson gets a kill onto Nolty underneath the tower. The lantern's just a little bit too late. And Prospere is going to land himself a hook. Sybil looks to try and make his way over with the help of Kevo. He lands himself the Q following up. Has got that Dragon's Rage available, but Prospere flashes over the wall. The bouncing grenade is only going to slow Shikari, not stun him. They land the rockets, but not the hook. As Flares is going up versus Yusa on a 1 versus 1. Yusa able to hold his own.
Great route coming out from Yusa to keep him safe there. Overall, a little bit messy from NVision. Nolty dying with flash and...
What cancelled Flares' teleport?
Route from Adept.
Ah, there we go. All right, grenade's going to go out, and that is just going to be the end of day for Haddo. He is going to get picked up as they lose that dragon at least there. So Barrage, one away from Soul.
Third dragon, as you said, of a Barrage. A little bit of gold lead pulled out from NVision. They got quite a few kills on the back end of that. Yeah, it was a good stop from the TP coming out from Riven. Things would have been disastrous then, but Nulty dying without using the repel or the flash. He's had some rough Elise play this game, is all I can say. A couple of times he's died essentially for free, but now they have control of the map. They have the numbers advantage. They're going to go for this Herald. There is vision up there coming out from Barrage, but not much they can do. NVision really want to find some headway in terms of gold advantages before the next dragon spawns, because it will be the Cloud Soul, and they don't want to give that one up for free.
I'm actually kind of amazed to see that they gave that Rift Herald up.
Adept just walked past that control ward. I think Adept's dead here. If Flares wants it.
Flares is pinging it. Adept's low on mana. Flares wants to get the wave.
He doesn't want it. He was picking. I thought he was good. I thought he was going to go for the 1v1, but he opts out.
I think the lack of knowledge of where Nulty was made it
definitely a factor.
Too scary for him to actually go for that without realizing he could just get 1v2'd. So, respectable play.
So what I expect to see again is this 1-3-1 setup from NVision. You try and find priority in the side lanes, push up, and then you can rotate to mid and apply pressure there. It's still very hard to do against the Heimer, but if you potentially clear out some of the vision surrounding, Kevo and Hado might feel threatened enough to back off. Yusa.
Take some serious damage there from Kevo.
Fortunately, this AD carry has a lot of self-healing.
True.
And there you see it. 179 HP. Thank you very much. Right now, though, big lean come top lane. You can see Sybil shadow in the rise.
Jumping in, they've got that Dragon's Rage, remember, they can follow it up. Everything is layered down, and Flares with a wind slash will find a shutdown kill. Shikari will just make his way up to defend the wave, but just needs to be a little bit careful here. He does have the Dominus.
This is a harder dive and no ult available. They will back away from Shikari, but good pressure onto Adept. These mobile mages in the side lanes do have limitations, and Sybil finally rewarded for his constant presence in the top side.
Yusa doing his best to clear out these turrets, but they are going to hold up and allow Kevo.
This is a big issue. This is a strength. We said Barrage had a great 1-3-1 yesterday. The reason it's working so well is you just can't do anything against the Heimer Thresh. Engage is really hard to do with all the turrets and the Lantern, and then priority is just essentially guaranteed for Kevo here. They'll just slap down a couple of turrets, they'll push the wave for free, and there's not really much NVision can do. They might be looking for something here. Ericsson's on a reset, and the wave is pushed in deep for Flares to catch it. This could be an opportunity if they can land something.
Yeah, they want to see if they can, but for the moment they're holding back. Sybil has been seen, so they know that the jungler is nearby. Nulty over the wall. Reveal the fact that he is clearing away that ward. So they know who is where currently. Flares is going for a trade versus Shikari. Got that cleaver, the Warhammer. He's got a lot of cooldown reduction. He's feeling pretty confident now. Is there a point where Riven kind of pulls this matchup back, or is it always Renekton favored?
I think if Riven builds full damage in the later stages, you can actually win this in terms of 1v1, but Renekton is an easier team fighter just because he's so bulky in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
But like, if you get to the point, like, if Renekton's going heavily damaged and you go heavily damaged, then Riven does eventually outscale. If Renekton's going tank, then I mean, he's going to be really useful in team fights still as like a beefy frontliner, and he's still going to be hard to dive, which is what I expect from Shikari.
Shikari's looking to go on him, gets himself the kill the Meek off. Flares is going to get caught inside that Dominus, has got the rest of his team helping him up. The Unleashed Power is almost enough, and Ericsson gets himself a shutdown. Dawning Shadow provides a small shield as Flares takes him out, and Barrage find themselves 2 kills nice and easy in the top side.
And, you know, Shikari was playing this entire time so safe, never looking to try and pressure the 1v1. And then as soon as Prospect comes over, he thinks, okay, it's go time, but Barrage bring more members. Herald gonna get thrown down mid, try and apply some pressure. Baron started, can they take it?
Hook's not gonna land from here. They've got the ultimate out. This is gonna be very, very quick. The box has been thrown down. A good scatter the weak means Nulty is locked. Baron Nashor has been picked up, and no one in Barrage has died. Yusa can't quite close that gap. Herald will at least charge, and Vision quickly ping towards the Dragon. They don't want to give up Soul as well as Baron. They're just gonna pick up the mid lane turret, and actually teleports are coming in. It looks like Barrage are bringing members with them. They don't want to give everything up yet.
4th Dragon spawning in a short amount of time as well. And Vision have their numbers back on the map. They have vision control of the area as well. They do not want to give up this Soul. Question's going to be, will Barrage just look to go mid for priority? They're TPing in.
Cross the hook, onto the jungler. That's absolutely massive. A 3-man stun comes out by Flares into a 2-man knockup. The wind slash is going to come down, but it's all NVision. They're running away with everyone. The carries still have health though for Barrage, and NVision just a little bit too low, so they're going to step away and look to try and contest the dragon.
And this is a big thing. They have used it to keep providing sustain, so inevitably they will be able to outlast and go for that dragon. The trade is Barrage going to look for that mid lane tower. Dragon will get secured by NVision. They deny the soul is the important thing. Barrage, though, playing this so well. Really intelligent read on the timings of Frostfighter come top. And it feels like NVision, they're the ones with the 1-3-1 composition, but we saw yesterday Barrage, stellar play around their map split. And here, NVision, they've drafted a composition, but they're being outmatched in-game.
This new Barrage roster is really doing some absolute wonders for the team. Nulty has used the repel. Should be a little careful.
Should be a little careful. No, Nulty.
Oh, that was so close. If that hit, Nulty would be dead. Ericsson is going to force Nulty away, and they've still got that Baron Nashor buff to work with. A lot of wave clear. Kevin can always empower up a turret here as well if they want to hard commit to the turret push. For the moment, they're not going to go for that yet.
NVision have brought 4 members over to defend. For now, that's fine, but Flares is pushing in the bot lane, so eventually there will be another lane of pressure ramped up that someone has to answer.
Sybil.
Looks like Shikari is going to head down because Flares is pushing up. A reset has come in for Barrage just to pick up some items. So the big ones is that Banshees on Ericsson essentially renders Prospect pretty useless to find picks on him. Leandri's taken by Kevo. A lot of damage to cut through this beefy front line afforded by Shikari. So far, not actually much come from the Baron. Barrage only really took the outer mid tower, and things have definitely slowed down since then. They did lose 2 of the buffs, so that's a critical thing to remember. And the goal is dead even. So NVision, despite the blunders, holding on well, but Barrage now putting 4 members in mid lane. They have Riven in the side lane still up against the Rise. He's just trying to clear the wave out. We've got to be careful. Just have that spell shield available to him.
Yeah, the Edge of Night is
not
going to
anymore.
get procced, though. The rocket lands onto Nulty. He's taking a lot of damage. Prospect looks for a hook, but the turret is placed down in time. Flair's now got that Death Dance, so he is very confident in 1v1 most people here. The broken wings are going to force the flash out from Adept. And a kick by Sybil will land onto the cannon.
Phaser's going a long way, but not quite enough to save his flash. Shikari, though, pushing the side lane to get this tower. But the cost is they don't have enough numbers to protect this mid lane tier 2.
Yeah, they are going to lose this here. Sybil actually goes in. Flashes away afterwards as Nulty uses the repel. The Unleashed power is going to come down, scatter the
really good
follow.
use of the camouflage coming out from the center. Keep it safe. That's a lot of AoE from the Rise.
Oh, actually, Haddo's going to get hooked. Haddo's gone here. Adept just picks him up.
The wave just got annihilated by Adept. The power of the Rise coming in, just burn through that. And this is the strength that NVision's composition has in the later stages of the game. The Rise is a monster right now. Shikari's going to get that tower in the bot side of trade, and considering how dire things are looking for NVision for a while, they're holding on pretty well.
This is the Righteous Glory Rise as well, you can see. Building the Glacial Shroud.
The Zoomies Rise.
Speedy Boy Rise also means that maybe when Flares jumps on him in the future, won't be quite as scary. He's got a bit of armor and health to work with as well.
Definitely does help. I think that's a big thing. There's a Righteous Glory also available on Prospere, which you saw him use to get that flash from Kevo earlier. Right now, things pace down. Baron gone. Dragon shouldn't be too far away. The Baron won't be much after. Slow-paced game. Team's going out for resets, and you can see a ton of deep vision. If you look towards the mid lane, there's so many control wards just littered in Vision's jungle. So they've just come off a reset, and we'll start clearing those out. But it does mean that they're going to be slower to the punch, because for now, Barrage, they've already hit the mid wave. They've already started to find priority and rotate down. And you can see they're now able to move into this blue side jungle. Even take this blue away, stolen by Sybil there.
Good smite. Taking away some jungle camps. Push up in the mid lane as well. It does look like Barrage have been halted a little bit. They got a bit with that Baron Nashor, but Now it's slowed down. You can see that Cloud Drake spawning up soon, and that is Soul. Barrage really want to get their hands onto that. Put some one stage closer to the Elder Drake as well, which is going to be a big pickup for them. It's Flares. Gotta land those, buddy. Let's take a stock of where the lanes are currently, because Baron will also be spawning up around the same time as the Soul. Question is what do Barrage want to contest? What's the higher priority to them?
And that's the difficult thing is Barrage can choose either. They've got to pick.
They can just find a kill onto one. Prosper, low HP, and Kevo takes him down. That's a man advantage. This dragon is all but gone. Redemption as well to make sure they are healed up and not going to be too low to be able to contest that Baron. Nasher, NVision just caught out. They're going to lose Soul.
And this is a power of being on the map sooner for Barrage. They were able to establish control over the Dragon area. Someone has to walk in and phase check. And unfortunately for Crossfair, the job was his.
Oh, now Barrage going to get their hands onto this Baron as well. They're rotating everybody over. They haven't got the Heimerdinger turret upgrade this time, so it won't be quite as strong. We'll spot them out with a sweeper. The Rockets are going to come over the wall for a little bit of light poke. Yus has got his Banshee's Veil back yet, but look at Flares. Got teleport and pushing away in the side lane. Barrage, they're playing a bit of bait here for the moment.
They're happy to buy time in this situation. Crossfair's now respawned, but the cost of that turn of play was not only the Dragon Soul, but also that bot lane tier 2. Barrage, once again, playing around their side lane so effectively. Really good read on the map.
Adept's going to make his way up. He does have a lot of wave clear. Almost level 8. Oh, sorry, level 19. 16. My numbers are really not working for me. Number 60, level 16 on the rise. Does just hit it, so he's got maximum range on that Realm Warp available to him.
Damage on the overloads available. Rise definitely scales into a monster. Problem is, not necessarily going to be able to utilize that depending on the situation. Flares itemized pretty well for the matchup into him, having the Hex Drink and the Merc Treads. And then the last Whisper for that armor he's built. I'm still not sure I feel confident in Flares in the isolated 1v1 just because of how easy it is for Adept to kite. Right now, Adept in the side lane, you can see Prosper shadowing. That's a really bad position to be in if the Baron is started. But for now, he hasn't shown. They're looking for Flares. They want to pick onto him. I think Flares is potentially looking for Adept, but he's going to spot Prosper out, and this might be the call just to stop.
Oh, he's actually just going to jump straight onto Prosper. Remember, he does have those ultimate available. Adept's trying to run some damage into him. He gets the movement speed around. Flares has got a bit of self-sustain, a bit of ability to block some of this damage up. Adept and Prosper are running circles around in the stun. All of the damage is coming down. Flares, one versus two. What an outplay. Prosper's going to go down. Flares with a double kill. The unleashed power onto Nulti. The scatter the weak onto Shikari. And Barrage once again find their opening, find their moment. Yusa uses the Dawning Shadow onto Ericsson, but it's not enough to get the kill. That's one for Sybil. Shikari, he has to flash the wall. He has to slice and dice away, but Sybil is hungry for blood. He wants a kill here. Doesn't quite land a Sonic Strike. And Barrage, 4 members down on NVision. They're going to knock on the base.
And they're just going to start taking structures. What a play coming out from Flares. As soon as they saw Prosper, the Baron was started up. But it was Flares finding the 1v2 that put so much success in that. They're just going to end the game. I don't think there's numbers to react. 2 seconds on ulti, 7 on Adept.
Yeah, Death Timers actually still relatively short. Hook does land on Sybil. Shikari jumps into him. Tower is getting focused out here, though. The health bars are just way too low. NVision can't do anything but watch as their base crumbles to Barrage.
And Barrage, full of surprises. They were the dark horse, I was saying, because we didn't have a good read on how these imports would function on the team. Really well is the answer. They knew how to play the map effectively, despite the fact that I would say on paper, just the champions are better for a 1-3-1 coming out of the side of NVision. The way Barrage played the map was better. The Heimer worked so well in mid lane with the Thresh. They just could never pressure it, never really threaten that mid lane structures, and it was just their read was so much better. Prospect went for that play on the bot side, trying to look for a pick on the flares, and the answer was they got demolished in a 1v2. And the thing is even if they'd got that kill, the Baron still would have gone over to Barrage on the other side of the map. They were winning on both fronts, and this has been the consistent thing is Barrage, they just play the map so much better than any team they've faced so far. And we called NVision the Academy Killers. I feel like Barrage may have just stole that title because I'm excited to see how they match up to XL or Fnatic.
Barrage have really impressed me now. I mean, the power that Hex Drinker along with the Death Dance meant Flares, sorry, I'm plugging my mic. Flares able to just get that incredible 1 versus 2. And it's not even these kind of outplays that are what's impressive. While these flashy outplays look great and, you know, it shows a lot about the players' individual skills, it's actually the team skills. It's that ability to drag you around the map and you just feel like every time you make a move, you lose something elsewhere. And just Barrage, honestly, an incredibly impressive team. And I'm really glad to see this team also kind of pull out from what was a horrible summer in 2019 for them into a really solid 2-0 start here in the UKLC for 2020.
Yeah, it was a really solid performance. It's well deserved. They just understood how to play the map so well. My criticism got to go for NVision, particularly Nulty and Prospect did not have good games. It felt like Nulty was a little bit lost, getting picked consistently at just awkward timings with his flash available, and the Blitzcrank from Prospect just never really found any headway. I mean, it was rough at the end because he was the one who was forced to face check and he went for that play in the side lane that inevitably turned out really bad. But overall, it just felt like this wasn't the NVision we saw yesterday.
No.
And even that wasn't big enough, good enough to beat XL. So it's been a rough start for NVision so far. I know they expected more themselves. Barrage, however, pleasantly surprised. It was really hard to get a read, but they delivered. Looked like a very good team, so kudos to them.
Barrage absolutely delivered indeed. But we still have one more game to go here on week 1 of the UKLC. So after the break, we're going to have Enclave versus Phelan. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.